Meaghan, you said last recording, last tribal, you said you had made moves that we didn't see or didn't know about. I want to know what those moves were. What have you done that's just you, that's been for you, by you, only benefiting you? What's going on?
Okay. Well, I want to start by saying that all of the moves that, Kaylee and I were part of was a completely mutual decision. I could have voted Kaylee out multiple times throughout this game. I can count 4 different times that I could have voted her out, and I didn't. The biggest one of that being when it was the final 4, I could have voted Kaylee out, but I didn't, because I thought it through for hours. If it had been the 4 of us, and it was me, Matt, and David in the final 3, I wouldn't have made it to the final 2, or at least I highly doubt it. I don't think that David would have chosen me over Matt. I don't think that Matt would have chosen me over David. So ultimately, I chose to not vote Kaylee out because it would have gotten me to the final 2. And I mean, I was right. I had already proven myself to be untrustworthy and willing and able to make big moves when I voted out Catherine and Grace. I didn't want to further make myself untrustworthy to Matt or David at that point.
Why would you want to have your strongest ally come in second to you, or would you want to come in second to her? Why would you want you two to be in the bottom 2 when you could have someone voting for you on the jury, like a guarantee vote, or help your friend?
Okay, you're saying if she would have been on the jury, it would have been a guaranteed vote for me. I don't know that that's true, because if I backstab the one person I've been loyal to and who trusted me this entire game and I vote her out, I don't know that she would be able to turn around and vote for me. I mean, I would hope that if that was going to be my strategy, but that's not a guaranteed thing. And the reason that Meaghan and I wanted to go to the 2 together is because we made the same moves. And the reason I wanted to take Meaghan is because, as you guys pointed out, it seems like I was the one making the moves and Meaghan was being dragged along. Yes, I would discuss everything with her, but I was the one reaching out to people and talking to people and making the plans and then telling Meaghan. Like the double elimination vote where we got rid of Catherine and Grace. Matt reached out to me. I was suspicious that I was going to be voted out in the second one of the double elimination, but after I talked to them, that suspicion was gone, and I trusted them that it was going to be the 4 girls in the final 4. I was the one who came up with the idea to vote for Catherine, since I knew that she was already voting for herself, because I knew that if I went to the final 4 with Grace, Meaghan, and Catherine, I would be the first one voted out unless I won immunity. So I knew that if I wanted to guarantee my spot further in the game, I had to make a move.
So my first question is super narcissistic on my part, but I just want to know the thought process behind why you would take Kaylee, who all your moves are directly tied to Kaylee, why you would take Kaylee and accept second, possibly, instead of taking me and trying to make Kaylee's moves seem like yours, and you could have had a solid argument.
Because ultimately, I would have rather lose to Kaylee than lose to you. And I think that's a mutual thing between Kaylee and me. She would rather lose to me than lose to you. I didn't reach out to people, but I was able to independently come up with the same ideas. And I don't know if Kaylee would vouch for that in this situation, but the footage does. And ultimately, I also did win an immunity, and Kaylee did not win an immunity. And I think that is something that should be reviewed in this situation.
Kaylee, why do you think anybody in the jury would vote for Meaghan? And what are your refutes to that?
I think people would vote for Meaghan because, as I just said in the last question, I was the one reaching out to people and making the moves. And yes, I talked to Meaghan about it, but I was the one who was pushing to try to get these moves made. So I feel like a lot of you on the jury would be more angry towards me than you would at Meaghan, because you guys all are telling me that you see it as I was just dragging her along, I guess, which is not the case. We did discuss a lot of things and work things out together, but ultimately, I think people would vote for Meaghan just because they're less angry at her.
Why does your game deserve my vote?
My social play was not completely there. I think that had Kaylee not been here in the game from the beginning, I probably would have had a more intense social game. But there are decisions that I made that were based more on feeling than strategy, and I'm ready and willing to admit that. I played a game that I think, for me, is a bit more moral. There were things that I did that I didn't like, and because I didn't like doing those things, I didn't do other things later on. I think that I've been a little underestimated in this game. I think that I have made I've made the big moves, and I was a big part of deciding to make those moves, more so than I think people know.
What was your strategy in this game, and why does it make you worthy of my vote?
So my strategy from the beginning, like I said, I was here to play the game. I wasn't just gonna go into a situation where I knew I was gonna be in trouble. I wanted to just always make sure I was making decisions that would get me further. In the double elimination vote, again, my strategy was I was suspicious going into the final four with the girls because, like I said, I knew from the beginning that you and Catherine were close, and I knew that if it came down, and you were winning all the challenges, so I knew, okay, if Grace wins another immunity, something's gonna happen. She's gonna try to get Meaghan to flip. I'm gonna be gone. They're gonna force a tie. Something's gonna happen. I'm gone. And I also was suspicious about the second vote because I knew you guys were working with David, and I know that you're really smart, and you were probably thinking about that too. So I knew I had to do something before that vote to make sure that didn't happen. And every move I made was to benefit my game. And the fact that I worked with Meaghan, it benefited her too. But I was not thinking about the two of us. I was thinking about me.
So first of all, I just want to say, I don't take anything personally. I promise. You guys are wonderful people outside this game. I just love being a bitter juror. Anyway, so my question is for both of you. The question is, you both lied directly to my face, stabbed me in the back, and ruined my game. If you lied to me the entire time, why should I trust the answers that you're providing to me right now?
Nothing to lose, nothing to gain, really, except for winning. I have no reason to lie to you at this point. And I feel bad about lying, but I mean, I said recently I lied the amount that I had to get to where I am, and I have to stick with that.
There would be no reason for me to lie, because I'm telling you all the moves I made and what I did. I know that I lied to your face. But the thing is after we voted you out, in that little bit of space in between that vote and when we voted out Grace told me and Meaghan that she was planning to do something similar to vote me out in the second round of the double elimination, which means you guys were lying to our faces too. And I think every vote was a blindside pretty much until it got down to the end. But so everybody was getting lied to and lying to other people all the time. There's nothing for me to defend against that because everybody was doing it. And yes, it was terrible, but like I said, I was worrying about my strategy and getting me further in the game. I had to do it.
Now, this is Meaghan and Kaylee. This is your last chance to do a closing statement based on everything you've heard.
I am ready and willing to admit that I don't think that I played as good of a game as I could have. I have quite a few regrets about it, but I do ultimately, I am proud of myself for getting where I am, and I wish that both me and Kaylee could win because I feel like this is a mutual win for both of us just getting here. And I think that after it came a point where the game wasn't really about strategy for me anymore, it was a bit more about loyalty, and I could have made some strategic moves at the end that both were strategic and weren't. I could have voted Kaylee out, but I ultimately thought that it would be better for my game. Not necessarily here, but I'm proud of what I did, even if you guys don't think so. And even if I lose, I'm happy to lose to Kaylee. Even if that makes me seem, a little lame or anything. I like what I did.
I just want to say, like I said at the beginning, I came here to play a game, and I think I played a good game. Obviously, I'm sitting in the final two. I played better strategically than Meaghan did, because like I said, I was the one reaching out to people. I was the one making the decisions. Even though she would predict what was going to happen, they wouldn't have happened if I wasn't the one talking to people and making the moves actually happen. I was the one who was behind, obviously, the double elimination blindsides, and another part of my strategy was the being able to lie, because obviously if you guys had been able to tell that I was lying to you, that double elimination would not have worked. So the fact that I was able to lie to you guys and blindside people is another part of the strategy. It was so stressful. I think I played a good game. I think Meaghan and I both played a good game. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad we all got to do this.